Have you ever wondered how where the app works on your phone? Well, how does it get all this data every day, even though you installed the app only once? So this is just an example how JSON actually works and what it does. So with the next few minutes, we will see what JSON is, why it is used every day, how it works, and you'll have understand all the basics. And this is non-technical presentation, so we're not gonna go into the technical details. So what is JSON? This is a simple introduction for the non-technical professionals. So why do you care? Well, JSON is actually a data format behind many apps, many websites. You actually see the results of JSON every day. It's used by social media and pretty much every application, mobile and web, that you see and use every day. What does it do? It actually helps different computers, different applications, and different systems to talk to each other across different platforms. And understanding JSON will help you to have a confident conversations with either technical people, developers, or non-technical people that use JSON and are familiar with JSON. And because in today's data-driven world, JSON is everywhere, it will help you to be more comfortable with using that term. So what does JSON stand for? It actually comes from a JavaScript programming language, and it stands for JavaScript Object Notation. What it basically means is that JSON is the way to store, transmit, present the data and communicate the data across different platforms. And even though it started with the JavaScript language, it's now cross-platform. It doesn't depend on any specific programming language. You can send it from one data from one server to another server, from one language to another language. It is just data. And the beautiful thing about the JSON is it's a text-based. So both humans and computers can read it and understand it very easily. And because of that, it became the universal language of data exchange. Data exchange means transferring the data from one place to another. And now it powers pretty much every single app that you're familiar with. So let's look at an example. Here's a little example on top, and let's call it JSON contact.json. This can be just simply a text file. And the first example is it shows the name, it shows email, and the value. So this is the name, which basically, well, let's think of it. This is the variable, or this is the key. So it's called in the JSON world, key and value. The key is the name. So we have a name, and we assign the value to the name, this name. And Kim, in this case, it's Kim James. And here's the email. And these curly braces on the first and the beginning and the end, actually, this is where the little object starts, and this is where it ends. So this is like envelope for this data. And the reason it's important because JSON can have another objects inside of it. So just remember for now, this little curly braces is just where things start and end. So keep them in blocks. So this is a simple object, name and email. But as you can see, we can improve it. For example, if you look at the name, Kim James, you don't know what is the first name and what is the last name here. For example, if you would be here LeBron James, then you familiar that the LeBron is the first name and the James is the last name. But as it can also be for some other person, the James could be the first name and LeBron could be the last name, right? So if we just send the name as first and name together, it's not clear which one is which one. So it might be a little bit better just to say, give it a first name, a special key to the first name, a special key to the last name. So now we know exactly what is the first one, what is the last name. It's very simple, but it makes communication very clear. All right, this is a little bit more complex example, but it's the same structure. You can see we have a beginning of the objects, end of the object, and you can see name. But in this case, we have a department, we have email, we have years employed. So this may be data about one particular employer, and it has a remote worker. Yes, true. So now you can see that the values can be text. It can be a number. I see it doesn't have a double quotes around it. And it also can be Boolean, true and false. So this is a little bit more example. We're not going to go deeper into this, but it's just the important thing to understand here that you can put any names and so any keys and values in a JSON object, and you can put them in any order. The order does not matter here. So the very common another form that's used for data exchange between humans mostly is the CSV, comma separated values, right? It's just a list of rows and columns, and it's great for tabular data, so we can have a list of the columns and everything goes on in one column, next column, next column. And it's actually, because you only use names of the columns once, it's actually smaller size than JSON. And it's nice and friendly for humans to read, but it's not really a convenient way to communicate the data to the applications and to another computers. So the advantage of JSON is that it can handle very complex nested data. So it can be hierarchical, the objects can be inside of the objects. So it has that power. You don't have to use it. It can be very simple. But in CSV files, you don't really have a way to do that. It's also self-describing. You can see department, you can see email, you can see as employee. So this is very self-explanatory keys here that we can easily understand what that means. And because of that, it's great for different applications. Well, we're not going to go deep into this. But he is the person, his name is Douglas Crockford. He is the first one who presented or provided the specifications for the JSON file format. It was about 30 years ago. And he worked, I believe he's retired right now, but he worked at the PayPal as an architect until 2019. He's been advocating JSON for a long time, and this is some of his quotes. He said JSON is most beloved data exchange format. And he also said that the programming language changes, applications change, but JSON is actually hasn't been changed for many years, which is very nice that this data format is stable. It doesn't evolve much, and everybody is using it, so it's very reliable. All right. So in summary, JSON is used pretty much everywhere. You can use in CRMs like Hotspot, Salesforce. It used to get data into the dashboards, into the reports. It used to exchange data between different applications and servers using APIs. It can be used for import or export data and files and many other applications. Why does it matter? Because it helps to connect pretty much, send the data from any computer to any other computer. And you can transform the data along the way, but in a simple scenario, you just send it from data from here to there, and everybody understands it. And it's very simple to interpret the content of the data in the JSON format. It's very clean. It helps you to describe anything you like there. There's no real limitations. What can you do with this? There's no rules that tells you have to name things in a certain way. So it's up to you. And because it's simple, and it's powerful, it's pretty much adopted everywhere by now. And especially in the nowadays when the pretty much all the businesses and all the applications are data driven, basically the JSON is behind all of those applications, right? This is a quick intro. This is level 1 introduction to the JSON format. In the next video, I'll present like level 2, just a little bit more technical examples, what it does and how it works. And that's it for now. Again, my name is Alex K. I'm the founder of FrontDesk.net, and I'll see you in the next video.